Hi there, welcome to today's broadcast. This broadcast is a series of 4 broadcasts that we're discussing to better understand the types of sensitivities that your child from autism may experience. And it's all based on Temple Grandin's book, The Autistic Brain. And in today's broadcast, I'm also going to be providing short-term and long-term solutions. And we're going to be discussing how you can recognize and reduce auditory processing challenges if your child has symptoms of that from autism. So welcome. If this is the first time you're joining, my name is Tina Bishai. I'm the founder of Golden Healings, and it's here I get to provide in-person and distant healings to both adults and children. And my love is especially to help children with autism and ADHD experience relief from their symptoms that may present challenges to them in their everyday living. And at Golden Healings, I really believe that we need to address these kids holistically, physically, emotionally, and energetically. And if we really ignore the energetic component, we're not addressing the whole person. So before we begin, if you're there and if you can hear me, I'd like for you to press the wow, the heart, the like buttons. Let me know you're there. Let me know where you're listening from as well. Even if it's after the live broadcast, I'd love to engage with you afterwards. And let's just get started. Basically, last week we talked about visual processing challenges, and this week's broadcast I want to discuss auditory processing challenges. And just like our children can experience sensitivities to the energies around them, they can also experience overwhelm or like an overload with sounds and different environments. So for example, background noises of cars or loud sudden noises from a fire truck or an ambulance or a smoke alarm, or even in noisy environments that they may experience in the mall or a train station or a loud movie theater. And this type of auditory sensitivity can obviously create difficulty and distraction for your child, making it hard for them to concentrate or focus or even hear what you're saying to them. And your child might have difficulty hearing hard consonants. So if we take the words pat, cat, and sat, they may all sound the same to them. So there are things that I'll discuss later that we can do to help in these situations. You may notice your child might cover their ears around loud sounds, or they may have tantrums or behavioral challenges in noisy places like the mall or the sports arena. And when your child finds himself in an overstimulating environment, their hearing may actually shut off or change because to them, the noise actually sounds like a bad cell phone connection. And in effect, they just can't even hear the words that are being said to them. If your child does experience auditory processing challenges, they may also have difficulty localizing the source of sound. And so these are all different kinds of possible challenges they may experience, and what can you do? So this is the part which can give you some solutions. Short-term solutions can include things like wearing earplugs or headphones that block out the noisy environment when they are in those environments. And of course, you only want to have them use that for half the day, not the whole day, so that their hearing sensitivity doesn't get even more sensitive. Another idea is that you can record sounds that hurt their ears on a recording device, like that fire truck or that smoke detector, and then play it back to them at a reduced volume so that they can actually get used to the sound. And also, if you think about it, loud sounds and noises are more easily tolerated when your child has a really great sleep. But if they're sleep deprived and they haven't slept well, those will be even more of an irritant to them than they usually are. They're also better tolerated when they are either initiated by you or them, and the child knows they're coming. And so that was the idea of recording those sounds and playing it back to them at a reduced volume. If you notice your child has difficulty with the consonants, so we use the example of pat, hat, and cat, then you may notice that they hear vowels very well but not hard consonants. It's important that you speak slowly to them so that they can better understand, because if you're always in fast pace and speaking quickly, it's going to be much harder for them to comprehend what you're saying, especially if they have difficulty processing and hearing those hard consonants. Some kids can also stutter and get their word where they can't get their words out into a sentence, while others may be perfectly fine and may even be able to recite TV commercials. And the issue with that is they're reciting it, but they don't actually know what they're saying. I don't understand it. So it's also worth noting that these auditory processing challenges can be experienced in conjunction with visual processing challenges, because those two parts of our brains don't work alone or independently. And so for those children who are impacted by that, you want to do your best to keep the visual cues to a minimum while you're speaking to them as well. And one other solution just to touch base on is music therapy. There have been some studies that have shown, research to show that there is a strong response from nonverbal kids where the part of the brain that is turned on with music is actually also turned on with language, because it's in a similar part of the brain. And so music, I've heard of stories where parents teach their kids language through music and have been quite successful because it helps to light up that part of their brain. So these are some short-term strategies that can be implemented to immediately help your child with these symptoms. And just to mention about some longer-term solutions as well, I really like all these short-term solutions, and I think they're really beneficial that you can actually just use them immediately and see how they help. And the longer-term solutions to me are those solutions that can actually make a life-changing difference, where maybe you don't have to use those earphones in the busy mall, or you don't have to speak as slowly as you were speaking to your child, or you don't have to worry about all the auditory or visual processing challenges. And I'm talking about that long-term solution being the ability to address their energy and their energetic field. So if you remember, I speak a lot about it at Golden Healings. I really believe that we are body, mind, and spirit, and so it's important to treat our children physically, emotionally, and energetically. And if we ignore the energetic component, I think we're missing a lot that can help out our children. And when you think of energy medicine, it's well-known fact that any kind of physical symptoms we experience or dis-ease in our body always shows up in our energetic field before it shows up in our physical body. And so that's why it's important to address as well. And when you think of, if I have, for example, a full aura or energetic field, it's full in stature and vibration and color, then I am more fully protected, and my body can more naturally reduce any symptoms that it's sensing in the physical bodies. And this is what I do with the shamanic healings that I provide for both adults and children. So by having energetic healings like this, your child can be better protected, and they don't necessarily have to experience the symptoms that they are experiencing in their bodies or their challenges that they're dealing with. I am really simplifying it as an explanation, but at the most basic level, addressing a child's energetic field can, in my experience, reduce and even eliminate their symptoms from autism and from ADHD. And this type of healing is complex, studied field, and one I've studied for many years, but I want you to know that it is available for you. It may not be common knowledge to many people, but this is one of the reasons that I choose to do the work, because I've seen such miraculous results from these types of healings. So if you haven't yet watched my free online workshop, I'll put it in the comments below, but I invite you to visit www.goldenhealings.com, and you can watch the free online workshop from there as well, and really get a sense of what some of the results that people have had with the shamanic healings that I provide. I have some really nice testimonials from some parents on there who have experienced the healings for them and their child. So I hope this information was helpful for you today, and I invite you to join me next Thursday at noon as we'll be discussing touch and tactile sensitivity challenges that your child may experience in their journey with autism. So again, we're focusing on solutions here, and I would love to be able to help you on your journey. Thanks so much for joining. And Jasmine, I see you've sent me a message there, so thank you. And I'll love to connect with you after. Take care. Have a great day.